because it's their bread and butter right now. And I'm glad I saw Erica's TikTok and I'm glad that they did reinstate the Australia and extend that funding. But I have been concerned, and I did want to mention it, that what do we think is going to happen with Birmingham? I know that they're really going to attack it. I have a real bad feeling about it. It makes me worry.
Do you think Prince Harry and the Invictus, do you think they're not planning for that? Do you think they have?
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. They're well aware of the tactics that will be employed against them. Yeah, but still, it makes me worry.
How do you think they will want to attack the Invictus? What
it's attacking his credibility. About the funding and stuff like that, and then could be creating at the actual games, creating some chaos and disruptions. Let's say. Yeah.
So I don't
They
know.
already said.
I'll say something after Mimi. You can go ahead, Mimi.
Oh, they already said something about that. Oh, that thing you're talking about, JPAC, about the funding and the fact that it is in Birmingham. That Birmingham is what is it called? In debt. They're struggling to raise Birmingham and stuff like that.
But
That's not show or PDF. This was painful to watch. You know how many donors you have?
What just happened?
I don't know. I think somebody's TV was on, but you can go ahead.
Oh, okay. Then they've already British press is wonderful for doing that. They've already started attacking it. That they can't raise enough for Birmingham and stuff like that. That's what I wanted to say.
But yeah, she's right, JPAT, in regards to they're already nitpicking it to hell. And the reality is that when it comes to Birmingham was already destitute long before Invictus even, long before England bid it for Invictus. So they can't blame that per se. Actually, the Commonwealth kind of helped that a lot as far as why they are in the financial straits that they are in. And they know this. They're trying to find money that doesn't exist. And this is by way of, just two really inexperienced idiots who are running around YouTube with the help of other morons on YouTube, basically say that there's money missing. And I mean like millions and millions, like something like 60 million, which is absolutely stupid because they don't know how to read financials. And they really think that this is just a ball and stick event for wounded veterans. They don't understand that a lot of this goes towards the medical care, the travel, the therapy for, these veterans. They don't understand how expensive that gets. And most stupid. And I think the stupidest part of all this, and I'm just, I don't hold any deranger to high regard, but it's like, it's got to be at least one in there who knows how this works. It is impossible. And I want to repeat this, Bonnie, while you got 140 people in your live. There is no foundation, no organization, no charity that will let the founder dig in the purse. There is a board that has a treasurer, and then there is a CEO. It is Fort freaking Knox. Harry has no access to that. No one does. So the fact that people think, because it can't be, well, Harry and Meghan's home is outdated and they need to remodel it. I know why they're not remodeling it. They're broke, but then they have $60 million sitting somewhere that they're spending money on. Like, come on. We got to use some common, and that's all I'm asking. I'm not asking you like Harry and Meghan. I'm just saying, a little common sense. Please and thank you.
Erica, I'll go even further. I think them not knowing is one part of the answer, but the other part is that they genuinely do not care. It does not matter how important and honorable this cause is, they do not care. When you see that these derangers who call us bullies have, it is so easy for them to attack people who were there in the hospital that Harry and Meghan visited in Australia. When you see that these people take a pleasure into harassing a woman who was vulnerable enough to explain that she had had a miscarriage because of partially because of this whole situation around welcoming Meghan to an event. These people, yes, they do not know, that's for sure. But a lot of them, whether they know or not, they do not care. It does not matter if we're talking about the veterans. It does not matter. I'm telling you, if Harry and Meghan were to be responsible for some of the great things in the world, they still wouldn't give them credit. That there are some derangers who are far beyond salvation in that sense, because it does not matter how good that thing is. It does not matter if it makes sense or not. They are going to find a way to blame Harry and Meghan because that's all they know how to do.
You remember? I'm sorry, Bertie. You remember how Trump base used to call the liberals lip tours? That's how the Rangers are. They don't, like Maisha's right. They don't care about the humanity of it at all. They're just about getting one over, sticking it to them. Their lives are miserable. They don't care about handicapped people. They don't care about the good work he's doing because, like Erica said, it's not just one thing. It's medical costs, prosthetics. Do you know prosthetics can cost one leg can cost upwards of $50,000? And that's the cheap end. That all these things are being provided. He's showing you where the money is going. But see, they don't care about any of that. They don't care about online safety when Meghan was talking about the children. They don't care about her miscarriage experience. These people are very, very hateful and evil. Okay, I could only, if you're willing to treat people like they do Harry and Meghan on this scale nationally, I can only imagine what goes on. Okay, I know they don't have any friends. And if you're people like-minded like they are, I mean, go to hell. Really. But it's all true. They do not care. They can do everything, charity work. They attack the children in the hospital, harassing the parents and kids. These people are loony. They are really mentally incapable of recognizing what they're doing. They're at that point.
And what Bertie's saying is correct. These people have no sense of right or wrong anymore. They have lost all sense of reality because they have been marinating in hatred for so long. They have no idea when to stop. And when you get to the point where you no longer know how to stop, you are an uncontrollable being. And that's what we're seeing, not just over there, but even here. Because those working in the healthcare field, health insurance field, people get so mad. But I'm like, your actions and your decisions had a major effect on what's happening to you now. You're too far gone, but they still don't see it. They still don't see it. When you see people who cry, like you said about the cost, you're not seeing what role you playing into these costs. You're not seeing the role that you're playing into the denial of certain services. They don't want to take accountability of that because it's easier to shift the blame on a target than to take accountability for what they've done, for the role that they played in it. So you see it on a daily basis. It's nothing you can really do to help help people who are gotten that far gone. Only thing you can do is just make sure that you are doing everything you can do to help those who are still in need and protect those who are vulnerable, which is exactly what has been done. We've always made an effort to protect the vulnerable, to protect the vulnerable are the charities. The charities are vulnerable. They are vulnerable because they can't stop these deranged people. And as we can plainly see, the institution encourages these people to continue to behave like this. So there's nothing we can do towards the people, because if they wanted to really make this stop, they could. But people who are just, no matter what, would like, I don't care what you said, I'm going to do this anyway because this is it feeds them. A lot of times we say that over here we say that Trump is not the cause of it, he just ignited it. He ignited the hatred that was already there. And that's basically what we're seeing now. Meghan, the British media has some responsibility to the problems that's been created for Harry and Meghan, but they ignited the anger that people already had. These people had charities from the beginning. They had an anger towards people of color from the beginning, for Black people in general. So they already had these things in them. They just needed something to focus on, and their focus has always been Meghan. And because they can focus that energy on Meghan and seem like they are, and they think, oh, I'm getting away with it because I've been doing it so long, they can't change. Them higher up say, stop, we're done, we quit. It's not going to change because they have been ignited for so long and have been given this green light to cut the brake line and just hit go. They don't see the cliff ahead of them. And that's what we're seeing with these people who are anti-sussex narratives. They are the people who are driving the car with no brakes. The brake lines have been cut and they just keep going, and the cliff is right in sight, but they still don't see it. Again, the quicksand.
Oh, Bonnie, can I say something else to JPAT? I apologize. I was chatting with my husband for a second. But JPAT, another thing to add on to the concern about Invictus, I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's just a lot of hot air and just them trying to scare the bejesus out of people that possibly they don't go, and the engagement and the seats are not filled. Because here's the reality of it. If this fails, it's not a reflection on Harry or Invictus. It's a reflection on England and Birmingham. It's going to make them look crazy because they're going to stack this up to Vancouver, which was a knockout. They're going to stack this up to Dusseldorf, and we know how lit that was. I mean, it's just going to make the country look bad because they're going to be like, well, how come every other country that Invictus has been in has managed to not only see a surplus in its economy, but also it went swimmingly, and yet we come here and it's a mess. People are going to see it, and as they say, they're going to see it in 4K. So they need to think twice about doing that, and that's a detriment still to Birmingham. So, I mean, the media is going to do it's literal, like you can predict what they're going to do a mile away. Nothing they do is, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. Like, I know what they're going to do before they even do it, but they need to tread lightly as well, because now we're talking about government officials. We're now talking about military, dignitaries and all of that. You can't act a whole ass in front of these people. They see you. They will clock you. They will go to the C-suite and go, who is that? So they need to behave themselves. They truly, truly do.
Yeah, thanks, Erica. I see that too, because I volunteered at Vancouver, and the NATO top brass were there, and you're right. If they act foolish, then everyone's going to see. But I think the British media are so focused internally, and they probably don't see it.
You know what, JPAT? I think Erica is right, because if they show their ass, it's not a reflection on her. It's going to be a reflection on Britain. It's going to be a reflection on the royal family, Parliament, everything, because the whole world is going to see how they react to veterans. And I don't think people fully understand, like, people, like, I don't approve of war in any shape or form. Okay, but the people that come back from these wars, they are damaged. They don't get to pick up and go back to normal. There is no more normal after experiencing the good or the ugly of war. There is no good in it. Okay, and they need psychiatric help. They need prosthetics. They need help with financing, all of that.
Yeah.
And for them to think that they can go out and slander Invictus as a decade of this man doing this, over a decade, 15 years of doing this, I think. Okay, they can just say, oh, he's stealing money, knowing damn well this man got a ledger of everything he does. Okay, he takes you on tours of the places to show where the prosthetics are being made, high-end prosthetics. Okay, and so to try to slander that, it will not end well for them. I promise you, it won't end well for them.
Birdie, you said something that just made the beat a spark in my mind. I'm so happy I thought about this. I'm proud of myself, Loki. You said something that just did something to me. You said, it echoes what Erica was saying about before, but you said if basically it does not go well in Birmingham, it is bad for the way we see that the UK treats the veterans. They cannot allow themselves to fumble this because their relationship with the veterans is already bad. We know what happened a few months ago. I don't even remember the name of the day, but William was supposed to be present to honor the veterans. He was not there. We saw that noise that it made in the British media and how people were mad because I don't even remember if William and Kate were on vacation or what else, but they were not where they were supposed to be. He did not. They posted a miserable tweet or did a little post on Instagram to honor the veterans. I think there was even there was a wrong word that was not even spelled right. It was a mess. And Harry, who lives in the US, actually had, which he always does, but he had the decency to honor the veterans the right way by sending a beautiful letter. You remember that, right? It happened a few months ago. I think it still left a big stain as to how we see the royal family treating the veterans. And we do not play about the veterans. So to echo what you guys are saying, with Birdie and Erica, they cannot allow themselves to fumble this opportunity to make themselves look a bit better when it comes to the veterans.
You know what's so ironic? You know what's so ironic? That Harry is a veteran. He's a veteran. And they're treating him like shit. It's unbelievable.
That's it.
Oh, remember during the Dusseldorf thing when the British UK veterans had to travel by I've forgotten what they had to travel by, but they changed at the time. It was not the government that was supporting them and stuff like that, and there was so much criticism there, and and the government had to come in at that time and say, okay, we will fund you for the next one, which the next one was in Canada, was it? I've forgotten where the next one was. Canada. And they fund, no, Dusseldorf. It was not in Canada, the next one. Well, Dusseldorf, then the very next one after Dusseldorf was not in Canada.
That was Vancouver, Mimi. Yep.
Okay.
Whistler.
Okay. So they had to up that game. Basically, they had to fund it. Then they even the bid that they did for the Birmingham one, the news was like,
Thoughts were just this was painful to watch. This was painful to watch.
Sorry. The bid that they did for the Birmingham one, the press was like, really angry with the government that was struggling in this country, and are bidding that much money for the Invictus Games and stuff like that. It was really a big discussion. And that's when they started linking it up to the linking it up to what is his name? William, the other brother, and so one of the people were like, it has nothing to do with the other brother. So stop linking it up with the other brother. This is all Harry. Even in the Canada one, they said they gave it to them like the games is Harry, and is Harry's personality that if the game. They said it in a way that if the game is even given to another person, it wouldn't work because the games is all around Harry, and Harry puts himself into it. Basically, that's what they were trying to say.
Thank you, Mimi. Appreciate that. Hi, Tanya. Tanya, are you there? Can anyone hear me? Am I audible?
I can hear you. Can you hear me, Bonnie?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey, Delilah, unmute yourself.
Yes.
Can you hear everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can all hear me. Okay, cool. Yes, I thought I lost my connection there. But yeah, I completely agree. I agree with what everyone has to say, to be honest. I don't think they have any power to cause any real damage to Invictus. I believe at this point, Invictus is too big for their shenanigans. It's not just Prince Harry. There are other people involved with Invictus, to be honest.
But the whole goal when with Harry, okay, I'm just going to talk about him for a moment. With Harry is to destroy everything that Harry built. Because if he can't build it there and let William take the credit and uplift William, he can't have it at all. Okay, and so they're really pissed. They besides them feeling like he's a race traitor, okay, because that's what they call him. They also feel like he didn't do what was told he was supposed to do. Okay, he was supposed to sit there and be the scapegoat, to walk behind William, to have all the ideals but get none of the respect or none of the praise. Okay, he was supposed to be drinking on drugs, everything. That image that you've seen of him at 18, that's one of the reasons they refer to him like a child. Okay, he's no longer that, but they can't accept that. So they say those little silly things like he's stupid, he's dumb, he's not so smart. The things were imprinted on him when he was young. Okay, and so they had an image of who he was that they wanted him to be. He was never supposed to leave that place. He was never supposed to find love. Okay, and now that this man is beginning to actually be a force to reckon with, okay, that the power that he is gaining, and they see it, that the circles that he run around in, they don't know about. Just because they have all these money and connections, don't mean that he doesn't have connection. He's in the royal family too. He has connections, and they know that people trust him. Okay, they respect Harry. And so they attack him with this new thing where he's stealing because they have nothing else. Or they're saying that Meghan is making a fool of him. They're trying to demean him. And it's not working. But they hate the fact that he left. He was supposed to stay in his wife lead and take his child with her. Okay, the whole thing is now Meghan's going out on her own. She doesn't want Harry. She's gonna leave Harry because now they know Harry would never leave Meghan. Okay, so now they're twisting that stupid story. But it's the fact they cannot stand. This man right here was supposed to be William. And they knew, and this is a pissed off part. They knew all along William was never that man. They knew it. And they so pissed that Harry left and took all that power, all that charisma with him. Okay, that he met a biracial woman, married her, and together, my God.
But you know what? Can I add something in regards to that? Yes, it's power, but it's also influence. It's big on the influential part. What if me standing here makes people move? I think, you know, and the only reason why, and I get what you're saying, Bertie, power is everything, right? But it's also used to manipulate, and that's what Harry's not trying to do. They like to wield that power nonsense with, you know, Charles and William and all of that, but that's like a bullying tactic. Like, I can make you monkeys dance if I want to. But here's what the real reason is, and we talked about this before. It's not just that they don't want Harry to succeed. They can't prove, and I'm gonna say this until I'm absolute blue in the face, they can't prove that there is a way that you can leave that institution and thrive. Because once you can prove that this whole thing is a farce, it's a waste of actually Britain's money. And Bonnie, you had people who are actual Brits who came on your live and said, yeah, I don't know what we're paying for, and I barely know who they are. We don't acknowledge them. So the thing is this, Harry coming out of this, renewed, refreshed, healthy, happy, even though he had to take some punches and blows, even though his wife had to take them, and they're on the other side of all of this, who's watching that from the royal windows? The children? That's what they're worried about. They're not worried about a Kate and Will divorce. They're not worried about, oh God, who else is there? You know what? Now that I think about it, who the hell else is left in the royal family? Anyway, they're not worried about the current senior quotation mark royals. They're not worried about them. It's that damn future they're worried about. Because what's stopping?
It's geriatric. I'm sorry.
Yeah. As we say, it's Ozempic, it's GLP-1, whatever. It's no one's there. It's gone. It's lost the meat of what it used to be when the Queen was alive, and that was going to happen organically. But that's just what it is right now. It's visible. But what if Louis? Hell, what if Charlotte say, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to kind of live a private life. Yeah, I'll come for the ceremonial stuff, but I don't want to deal with whatever this is we're doing here. I want something more. They can't have that. So the goal is to make everything that Harry and Meghan do look like it's a failure. Everything. The business, failure. You know, Invictus, failure. Archwell, failure. Whether it's the philanthropies or the production. Make everything look like an absolute disaster, because once again, the goal is to obtain or sustain or whatever the status quo that is that damn family. That's why the media is doing this. I mean, look, just as quick as we'll get a Harry's going to divorce Meghan, the next day we'll get a olive branches. Because remember, we haven't had a good olive branch story in a while, right? Yeah. Remember, those used to be a dime a dozen. My God, I said if I see another olive branch story, I'm going to beat someone with it.
You need some olive oil for so much olive branches.
Exactly, baby. We got olive oil bottles everywhere. I mean, come on.
A branch from Charles, a branch from Kate, a branch from Will. Everybody got the branches.
Right. Right. Like, who cares? Whoever this person is in the chat, go away. We're not talking about security. Shut up. Why would they need security? They're not there at the moment. Go away. Don't come in here being just, well, you know what? Let me not say you pretending. You probably are dumb. Let me not stop you. But that's why I wanted to say too, Bertie, that it's big on that. It's big on the, don't you ever leave this institution. Once you are born into this, you will die into this, and don't you dare want more. And that's horrifying. That's a horrifying thought because we don't have no say-so on who we're born onto, right? So you're just supposed to lay down and take it because you're a royal? Oh my God. And they think I'm jealous of this? I think not. I wouldn't want this life if you. Nope.
But you know what? Here's the thing. Can I just add to that or say this, Erica? I completely agree with you. But the thing is, don't you think that whole agenda to prove that everything that they do is a failure, don't you think that has failed from the beginning? It hasn't worked. Everybody knows now they have made it for more than 6 years and still going. So I don't think what they're pushing, the people are necessarily buying it anymore. They might have bought it at the beginning.
They sure did, Bonnie. A lot of
now people are like, whoa, we see what's going on here. We don't want anything to do with it. You're not telling us the truth. We're moving on. That is why they're tinkering around, maybe starting to question what William and Kate will be like as the future king and queen. I've seen several headlines really trying to question William, and I've never seen it before. So I believe all those nasty headlines, all those lies, it worked in the beginning, but not anymore. People are not buying it. So I think, in a way, the Sussexes, they have actually managed to prove that you can leave that place and you can make it. You can definitely make it. And they are living proof to that.
Yes, but Bonnie, can we also agree that you can make it if you're left alone?
Yes.
That's the thing. You got to be able to back off and let people thrive. They did not let Harry and Meghan. Now, Harry and Meghan figured it out because they have a very, very secure cohort of long-standing friends. But I would not sign anyone up to get the type of treatment that Harry and Meghan received for simply just leaving. And as far as this person in the chat talking about security, you know what? The Queen, that one that you guys keep crying about, the Queen asked everyone to give them security. I think it was like either the first 2 years or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then after that, of course, I think their security would have, either had to been reviewed to be either reinstated or downsized, whatever the case was. But even your government and your royal family said F the Queen's wishes and stripped them of security. That's another thing I don't understand why you all in here are talking about, she made fun of the Queen, she cursed, she's stupid. Yeah, but what about that part, that imperative part, where she was looking out for her great-grandchild, her grandson, and saying, give them security?
And stripping them of the security was to make them come back. See, that's the one thing that they don't want to discuss is the fact that it was all about control, thinking that they can strip everything from them and that they would be so scared and terrified like Meghan was when she asked Harry, would they ever do it? And he's telling, no, they would never do that to me. They know the situation. They know our lives can be in danger. And then they did. So it was to terrorize them into coming back and being compliant, shutting up, letting Meghan take the abuse if she was to come back with her, which I absolutely believe she would have not. Okay, she would have never went back. Okay, and I think they were banking on the fact that Harry might be too afraid, that Harry wouldn't have been the man that we all thought he was, that he would have buckled and say, I can't do this, Meghan. I'm so used to this. I've been abused by them, this. But because he wasn't that man, he didn't come back. Okay, they were banking on it. And to see him thrive, like I could say, that all the other ones, and I think that might have the opportunity, we don't know if they will be talented as Harry. Okay, we don't know what kind of support system they would have to have, because they also would have to have a support system just like Harry and Meghan did. But the whole thing is to have them afraid enough never to try, because you see what can happen.
You know who I blame for that? I blame that whole institution. I blame Will and Kate, if that is the case. I blame a lot of people for why anyone should be scared to even think about independence. But then I think about this, and you guys answer this question for me. I do think it makes a hell of a difference when it comes to race, Because I think the white tea ones, you know, your York sisters and all of them, they are the epitome of half in, half out, are they not?
Yes. They are, very much so.
Yeah, there you go. So they know it's effective. They know it's doable. They know that you can, you know, send two people who are not that close enough. Even though I think being top 10 in the line of succession, like anybody can be king or queen in my eyes, anything can happen. But you see firsthand how easy it is to have people live independently, which I think the taxpayers wouldn't care at all. Yeah, go out there and make your own bread and butter. And then when it's time for the, you know, Captain Crunch and tiaras and all of that, come back, put on a show for the people, and then go home. It's doable.
It is.
Watch how it will magically be a thing 10 to 20 years from now. Mark my words.
It won't even be up to that.
But you know why they have an issue with it being Harry? You have to think about the fact that when Harry was there, okay, he was the one that was popular. He was the one who was going on all the trips to all these different countries. He was the mascot to make that family look good.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, yeah. And so with him leaving, and then you're left with these two, okay? COVID was a blessing for them because they didn't have to appear anywhere. But once COVID was over and they were coming out more, Harry and Meghan was, it was like, okay, what do we do now? He was always here. He's the buffer. What do we do?
But Bertie, even with COVID, they could have been planning because none of us, that to me, COVID brought out the creativity in everybody, regardless of what status you were. Everybody had a creativity part, a creative side to kick in. And they used, during this time, that's when Meghan was doing her jam. And that turned into a business, which is, as we can see, is flourishing. Everything, the COVID time was a time for them to regroup. They could have said, okay, we got time, we got to figure out what we're going to do, get things together, even though we're going to still use our minions to try to bully Harry and Meghan to come back. We could come out and they'll show that we don't need you. They didn't take that time. And that shows the laziness of that institution. That also shows the laziness of those who are in charge of the people who are the head of the mascots, basically. Because that's all the royal family really is. They are mascots for the UK. No offense, but that's what they are. Because they're not supposed to be having some kind of political influence. They're supposed to bring an interest to the country. But if your mascots are not keeping people into the game, so to speak, what's going to happen? People are going to start leaving. I don't want to be here. They'll be leaving mid game. And that's basically what they're doing. We're seeing people are leaving mid-game because they don't want to see these boring people anymore. They want to see some activity. They want to see some kind of charisma. And these people are not delivering on anything. And because they're not delivering anything, people are like, what's the point of them? It's making them question them more. The questioning of the royal family is getting louder. Something they don't want, but in a sense they created this problem because by their being just blind to just attacking just Harry and Meghan, they're not looking at how many people are trying to walk away and how they actually help. What's that group called? Not My King. How they help them to get stronger?
Yeah, the Republic group.
They're trying to help them get stronger to give people, hey, we really don't need them. Your mascots were failing. They were the Temu. I'm not even going to talk about Tubi because Tubi got good stuff. They are the Temu version of what a good mascot was because they did not keep the audience engaged. They did not keep those people wanting to say, I can't live without this and everything, because you have to have a reason to keep that audience. You have to keep them entertained. And that's whether they like it or not. You are there to entertain and keep the people and also do good at the same time. But these people are so blinded by their own jealousy, they failed a simple task. And now they're scrambling and trying to make fetch stick with these two imbeciles who didn't understand how to write in a journal.
Yeah, what did she tell? What did Jill Biden say? Maybe suggesting to her that she can get a speech therapy, that she can get help with, her speaking. She didn't do that, and that was
Wait,
you.
Jill suggested that to her?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Yikes.
Yes. Okay. And my
the thing about it, didn't Diana do it? took those steps to better, because she wanted to be. Look, remember, Kate is about the title, not the people. That's all. Just bottom line, she's about the title, not the people. And if you're motivated by just the title and not the people, you're going to show how lacking you are in public at all times. Diana she would never be a Diana 2.0. She's not even a Diana 0.1 to the 20th power. She is nothing, because she has her goal, her mindset is materialistic and selfish, and because it's set like that, she will never be a benefit or an asset to that institution.
I think they should have left Joe Biden alone. I don't know what the point of that was. She hasn't talked to Kate in eons. It's just like, Jesus Christ, you guys just keep digging a bigger grave for yourself. Just stop the PR nonsense.
And that's the thing, trying to make Kate into something she isn't. But two, like with Harry, he was never supposed to marry an Asian woman. She was supposed to be the English Rose. Him marrying a black woman, okay? It upset the balance of things. It's like when Obama was elected president. It was the most unbelievable thing in the world. You're talking about life-changing history. This was life-changing history for the British monarch, for one of their princes to marry a black woman, okay? Not like, they can't believe it. They feel a betrayal from Harry, that his white supremacy didn't kick in. Okay, that he didn't put his whiteness before anything, that he didn't keep that little nigga in check. Okay, remember when he said that William thought that Harry should put his foot down with Meghan? Okay, that's what the image of how he should have treated Meghan. Treat her like a doormat. Treat her like she's less than. And for him to treat this black woman with respect and love, understanding, above his white supremacy family and the people that support him, pissed them the hell off. And then to see that Meghan, the stereotype they wanted, okay, they wanted, what's that other aristocrat, that little black one that was picturing with Serena, okay, they wanted one of those, they wanted her kind of coonish, where she would sacrifice her dignity and all of that. But she doesn't fit that stereotype they wanted, okay?
I'm going to say this, though, and maybe I'm wrong. She was raised more by her mother than her father. And that has a different effect. And I'm not talking about Meghan. I'm talking about the Marcinettes. She was raised more by her mother, and she was the one who probably pushed her. I'm not going to say she pushed her. She helped put that image of where she's supposed to be seen and not cause any waves. Because honestly, that I have seen it happen with some women who are biracial, and their mother, they're raised more by their mother than their father. I've seen that, and so I'm just saying. I think I'm not giving her grace, because you are who you are. You represent. You love your daddy's money. You got to represent both sides of your family. But she's more easily to be coonish because of who was putting stuff in her ear.
Yeah, and you know what it is? And they say, like, when they see Meghan, okay, it's not that just the looks, okay? It's the intelligence, it's the kindness, it's how she's able to be in a room with everyone and feel welcome, okay? I look at when Harry said that they missed the biggest blessing that one person that could have ever had, the difference that Harry and Meghan could have made for the royal family. When you think about that scale, the Commonwealth, the legacy of Britain with the stealing, the colonization, all these things that they are known for. Okay, how it could have been tweaked and changed and grow into something really beautiful with these two. And they didn't want that, because he was never supposed to be with a black woman. He was never supposed to be with anyone. I'm sticking by that forever. Okay, but that he chose her and he left with her. They see it as a betrayal too. Okay, it was never supposed to happen. And a lot of white women drive this because they have an issue with the fact that he chose her instead of one of them. Okay, when that woman got on there and said, the paper with penguins, I thought she was going to have a coronary. I thought she was going to have a heart attack because the thought of this prince showing this kind of love and respect to a black woman just breaks their brain. The hatred they feel because it should never be one of us. Never. Okay, we're never supposed to have a happy ending with anything. And two, what makes it so true in the case of Obama being elected, Morgan and Prince Harry, Mary and Meghan, it shows you that anything is possible, and that it's the choice that people make that affects everyone else or what people think. And so with him choosing her, it put away that myth. It put away that fairy tale that no, any prince can choose anyone he wants. And color, and it transcends color. And it did. And they're pissed about it.
Do you know if she's the same one that had the racist mother-in-law?
Which one's the one?
Yeah, so Emma Thine's whole in-laws were a hot mess. The father-in-law would stick anything with a pulse. He was disgusting. The mother-in-law was, I'm not saying that the dad wasn't racist, but the dad had black mistresses. The wife was racist. She didn't come to the wedding. But I need for people to understand why Emma will never, ever see it through the eyes or the lens of Meghan. Because remember why derangers like her. She's the good house, you know what. She doesn't complain. She just took it and she was quiet. That's it. That's the only thing. She put up with the abuse. Now, luckily for Emma, her in-laws are gone. They're deceased and she's now a librarian or whatever. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at her because her little introduction now I'm being shady. Her little introduction of Blaze of London, I'm the first black woman who was ever, I'm the first black. I'm like, girls,
That's just
calm
so
down.
disappointing too.
And that's why it's laughable when I see her. Like the whole time you were there, you were trying to put your head down low. Now you want to identify as black? Girl, please.
She was like, I manage these books. These books are my lineage. And I'm like, okay, girl, you and your books need to calm the fuck down. Like, it ain't even that deep. Like, okay, girl. Sorry, Bonnie. I had to say that. And I was like, goodbye. Like, I already don't really like the drink throwing and all that nonsense. Oh, I don't know if you guys know, but the Frog Eye Girl, her husband's ex was on that show and she lasted like 2.3 seconds. So she didn't even last long on that show.
He said the Frog Eye Girl.
I keep forgetting who's Beatrice and Eugenie. I keep forgetting.
Oh, I do know
Frog
one.
Eye. Beatrice is the wide-eyed girl.
Okay.
That Frog Eye.
Yeah, that's Beatrice.
I like Frog Eye.
Say the Bubble Eye Girl.
The Sonar Eye Girl. Yeah, her. Yeah, her.
Was she on there?
Yes, Dara was on there and Dara sat down for dinner and they said, are you a madam? And she's like, I'm the fuck up out of here. And she left. That's literally how that whole thing went. She's like, this ain't gonna work because they called her a madam and she left.
But see,
Oh, wow.
But see, that's the one they wanted. They wanted Meghan to behave in that way, and she's a strong-willed woman. She was not playing that with them. Okay, do you guys remember that? It's a variety show. It came on. It was in the U.S., but they had a little panel, and they was talking about the fact that besides the racism with Meghan and all of that. Two, they're pissed because she didn't stay there and take it like you said, but she upped and left and said deuces, okay? She said, hey, I'm out of here. I'm not going to suffer through this abuse. You're not going to mistreat me. Who do you think you are? I'm not putting up with this. I need to get out of here. Because they think she should have stayed there and took it. All of the abuse. It's so crazy that they would think that would be normal to do. But within that family, it really is normal to take that abuse. Okay, Harry was taken into years.
I was gonna say the abuse is not for just outsiders, it's for those inside too, because like you said, Bertie, Harry has been abused emotionally for years, since the day he was born.
Yeah.
And whether people like to admit it or not, he was the pauper prince. He was literally the pauper prince, because when they showed us how he really lived, my house was bigger than that little cottage he was staying in.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. But when you kind of look at how they treated Harry, the trash bags, the holes in the shoes, the making fun of him, the tabloid.
It made more sense.
Yeah, it makes more sense that they view him, like I say, just like a pauper. They view he's the Cinderella. Okay, he really is the Cinderella. Okay, where they kept him in the dungeon and only brought him out to be used. Okay, and he was rescued by the Black Princess. Okay, and that's the thing that always gets me. They profess to have this love for this man. Okay, but when he finds love, they say, "Oh no, we don't approve," and they turn into him some more. I mean, this man had really never had a goddamn day of peace.
Remember, for the first 6 months for the first no, not 6 months. For 6 months, they were begging them. The British press was begging Harry and Meghan to leave before they actually left, and when they left, hell broke loose, basically.
Like you said, they told them to leave and they left. So what's the point? What's your problem?
They thought that they was going to come back. They really, I'm telling you, they really banked on the fact that they was going to terrorize them into coming back, pulling their security, having Harry so afraid, okay, for his safety and his family's safety without the British protection, okay, that he will come back and bend. Like what he say, bend the knee. William always want him to bend the knee. Okay, it's that kind of absurdity. Like I say, it's very like crazy that the way they have turned against this man after everything with his mother, okay, everything he experienced and then his wife experienced. Like we say, they don't have a caring bone in their bodies. They do not care about anything. They don't give a damn about Will and Kate for real, or their kids. It's what they can do. What can they twist out of you? How can they torture you more? And that's what they was doing to him. Now, are they doing it now? No, Harry don't give a damn. Okay, Harry's over it. Meghan's over it. But they can go on with it.
Thank you. Hi, Simply.
Hi, how are you? I'm okay. Sorry, I was in and then I had to take a phone call and then I came back listening and I decided to come up. You know, when I was listening to everybody, the only thing that kept coming back in my head is like imagining when Princess Meghan got into that family, when they were having like get together, like Harry's posh friends, not his real friend, the posh friends and all that, and having discussion. I can only imagine how Meghan's intelligence probably blew their mind. They probably thought that they would snub her, they would say whatever they wanted, and her very calmly and very classy probably put them all back in their places. And they probably hated that about her, the fact that she was smart and witty. And they were not able to belittle her. I can just imagine that. Then that probably really got under the skin. Then here you had that black woman, beautiful, gorgeous black woman, smart, intelligent, witty, and that will not allow them to belittle her. This is probably why the posh one don't like her, because she's above and beyond them. And they can't deal with it. I just can't imagine that. I mean, I know she will never do it, at least not now, probably in 40 years, maybe 30 years, I don't know. But I really wish I could read stories that she has to tell about that place. Because I'm sure that book will be even more interesting than Spare. I bet. I bet she has some stories to tell about those people, about totally, lifting the veil of these so-called noble people who have money or maybe just property, because most of them are cash poor. They just have property, full of themselves and probably not very smart, conceited, taking people down, putting people down, making statements about real facts in life that they have never encountered one day in their life. And her, with her experience and with her education and with everything about her, just putting them in their places with a smile on her face, not even raising her voice. God, I wish I could have seen that. Anyway, it was me fantasizing about that. Do you guys think I'm wrong?
No, you're absolutely right.
No.
Okay. Meghan intelligent. Okay, like you say, all the things described about Meghan, they are intimidated by Meghan. Okay, Meghan came in there like she's been doing. What did Harry say? Like she's been doing it forever. Okay, like she didn't need to know, because she was around in a political circle. She was meeting dignitaries. Okay, she knows how to do this, and they were jealous. Okay, they couldn't believe it. I remember on one of Harry's interviews, he was saying they didn't think he would get a beautiful woman, but they didn't think she would be intelligent too, because of how they viewed him. And to have Meghan, it kind of shoots that myth down of him being unintelligent, because that was the story they were also telling. But Meghan walking in there, being who she is, being stylish, charismatic, intelligent. I mean, Queen Elizabeth was sending her everywhere by herself, knowing that she could handle that, because she'd been in those rooms. She'd been in that circle. Okay, they hated all of that. That's why they never discuss it. The only thing they ever say about her, she's a D-list actress, or she's trying to be an influence. They don't say anything else about her education. They don't even talk about the TIG at all.
And Birdie, that says a lot about Meghan, because just think about it. She saw Harry in a raw form, like R-A-W, in his raw form, because he had nothing of the glam that everybody thought that he had. He had none of those. She went beyond that and saw the real man, the real potential. I mean, that girl is wise beyond, that woman is wise beyond her age. I mean, just think about it. If she was only behind money, she would have run away, because he had nothing. It was all a show. Everything we saw was just when they allowed, like you say, when they allowed him to go out and, do his little show and then come back, go back to his misery. But she saw all that. She saw his real life behind the curtain, and she still stayed there. Like you remember in Harry's book, he says in Spare, then even her friends asked her if it was worth it, because she was going through so much hell. And she said it was, and she stayed. And look what she has. She has a diamond of a man that many of us wish we could have in our life. That shows that she is wise beyond her years. She was able to see the diamond underneath all the crap. And that says a lot about her as a person.
Remember in that interview when she said that what she know, because everybody thought that she had Googled him, right? And she said she didn't, because she don't believe in all the tabloid kind of things people say. She want to get to know the person, who they are. And so she said whatever she learned about him, it was through him. Not what the media said, not what a tabloid said, okay, not what his brother said, but through him. Okay, she's the one who decided he was worth that. She's seen his humanity. She's seen a good person. Okay, she's seen somebody who was similar to her. Okay, and that's a lot. Who would put up with that? But she's seen all that. And when she was making her little speech, she called this man her treasure. Okay, so she sees what we all has seen, and she recognized that. But they never wanted her to see that. They thought that they could torture her enough to leave this man. And because if Meghan would have left this man, you already know in your heart of heart what would have happened to him. Okay, let's be honest. Okay, but that's what they were banking on. They thought that he might have offed himself after that if she would have been that kind of woman. Okay, and that they could have had their story for another century about what happened when he met a black girl. Okay, and it didn't happen, and they're pissed about it. That's why I say they hate the fact that Meghan was in his life, that he met Meghan. They seen it different.
He's really Cinderella. He's really Cinderella for real.
He really is.
He is for real. He's the one he was saved. He is Cinderella.
And
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
They really should make a real Disney story about them. They really have to.
It really is. I don't know if you guys remember that one with Jerry Lewis called Cinderfella. He was Cinderfella. Okay, she really did rescue this man, but he was never supposed to be rescued. No one was ever supposed to love him. Okay, you seen with the other girlfriends what they did, and they did that deliberately to hurt him. Okay, it wasn't even so much about hurting them. It was to hurt them enough that they would never come near this man. That no woman would ever come near this man. Because believe me, if it wasn't for the press, Harry getting pussy was never an issue. Okay, Harry having somebody committed to him and the causes he wanted to do, a partner that would support him. The odds of him finding a Meghan was 0 to none. Meghan was that needle in a haystack, because no way in hell, this man, when he said the list and she was a list, think about all the qualities. He wouldn't have just found that in any English rose. Let's be serious.
No, Diana sent Meghan to him.
It has to be.
It has to be. I swear she made a deal with God and she said, I was a good person. I did all these good things. Please help my boy. Because that finding somebody like Meghan, that is everything on the list. You're lucky if you have 3 things on the list of 10. You're lucky.
Look, beauty, brains, okay, funny, kind, a humanitarian.
She can cook. She does art. I mean, God.
And most of all, the one thing, look, he got evicted. When he seen her volunteering doing the USO, okay, you guys know what the USO is, right? Okay, yeah. It's a military where you go around traveling. Not Bing Cosby used to do not Bing Cosby, the other one. Bob Hope used to do it. Okay, I'm from that area, so I know who he is. Okay, they did a traveling USO show for military. She did that. So he found also someone who would support him in his military endeavors with Invictus, side by side, not just on the sidelines. She's there with him, supporting him. Okay, traveling with him, doing Invictus with him. What's the odds he would have found that with an English rose? You're right, simply, when you say she was sent to him. Okay, she was made for him. Okay, no other man would have been available for Meghan. Okay, if that was the case, she would have stayed married. She would have broke off the other engagement. When this man came along, she knew who he was. That's why she called him his treasure. Her treasure.
Simply, when you said about his friends talking rubbish, talking racist things and whatever. There's a story out there saying exactly what you said.
So you see, I wasn't far off. I just could imagine that, just thinking about those type of people and how intelligent she is. I could just imagining them sitting on the table, them making a stupid comment about something happening in the world, and her with a very smooth voice, very smart voice, teaching them about real stuff. I can see that. And not allowing them to make any derogative comments about any group of people or any situation, because let's face it, those people live in a bubble. They don't know anything. They don't know anything. The only thing they know, for example, about Africa is when they go on safaris. They do nothing. They don't know anything about poverty. They don't know anything about people working 9 to 5. They don't know anything. Because usually when you hang around or when you talk to people of a certain financial level, particularly if they live in a bubble, they make comments who are so insensitive. And they don't find anything wrong with it. They don't, because they're clueless. I've met few of those people where you're looking at them, you're like, you have money, but you have no brains. So money really doesn't buy brains. So I can imagine her being in an environment and telling herself, I'm a wrong idiot. I can see that. Because when you have a William saying Africa is mine, what the heck? So imagine the mentality.
Childish behavior.
Miranda, you all right? Good evening. Miranda, you can talk.
Miranda is being French kissed by a dog right now.
That shot the living mess out of me last night. I was like, oh, no. And I was like, and then after I got off live and everything, I was like, I can't believe, like, who tells people that? Like, you know what I mean? It's bad enough that it happened, and then I just blurted it out, like, but yeah. But no, it was yeah, and yeah, it was. So yeah. But see, and here's the thing also, to piggyback off of what y'all were saying, I can definitely see Meghan, calling them out on it. And I can also see Harry, as he grew as a person, I could see him calling stuff out as well. And like her calling stuff out to like, the aristocrats and whatnot, to his, aristocratic friends, I could see them brushing that off to a certain extent, because I could see that. But I could see it would have gotten under their skin so much if Harry was to either independently have called them out on something, or if or him just backing her up. It's the locker room talk, as Trump, so it's just, or the red pill guys say, it's just the locker room talk. It's that type of BS. I could totally see that. And not just in regards to, her being a woman, but her being a Black woman. And because in his book, there was, he talked about, no, maybe it wasn't his book. Maybe it was the guy, there was a soldier that served with him, and he was part of the LGBTQIA population community. And he said that, he had a issue with some guys, and Harry handled it. And he never had an issue after that. So that tells me that, okay, he's that at the very least, when somebody says that Meghan changed Harry and all of this, I'm like, because this happened years before he even met her. He was already on that journey, I guess is what I'm saying. And y'all said it in the past that, if he wasn't at where he was in his life, Meghan would have never given him the time of day. You know what I mean? And rightly so. But it's so interesting. It's so interesting with how the British media covers Invictus, because it, and I'm just, being from like a town and everything, not surprised by it at all. But it's just so interesting, because it's not only are you offending active duty soldiers. Not only are you offending veterans, not only are you offending friends and families of those veterans, it's like a ripple effect. And I don't know, especially if some of these people consider themselves royalist and they consider themselves big on supporting military soldiers, and you know what I mean? I don't know. But then again, money and social clout seems to ellipse common sense in a lot of ways. I
Oh dear, Miranda.
Who are not big.
Can't hear you. Miranda?
Say that again? Oh,
You're
okay. Can you hear me now?
Miranda. You are breaking up. But we can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Okay, you can hear me now. Alrighty. Yeah, my house is like. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. My house is in a weird it like half of it's a dead zone, half of it's not. It's like Twilight Zone over here. But it's just really interesting when you listen to the UK media and how they cover Invictus and everything, because they're alienating a lot of their viewership who are very pro-military, and so I think that, I don't know, I'm just starting to see a lot of people that don't follow the royal family that are really sticking up for Harry and Meghan. And because I'm seeing it more on social media, I think that I think people are also, I think it's seeping into like everybody's real life. Like, I think they're becoming more aware of it, if that makes sense. I think we have seen I think more white people than ever, and I think the more people that are on social media and that are exposed to different points of view, as long as they're not living in their own echo chambers on social media, I think it's going to be one of the silver linings of social media, because like people from the UK are hearing people from America pouring out, stuff that they're seeing in the British news, and the people in the UK are seeing the propaganda that's on American news and how their media, so it becomes a mirror of each other's reality in a way. And I wonder if that is what's happening, where more people are starting to question the news, and just maybe, I don't know, maybe media literacy in a weird way is start to go up, at least just a little bit. I'm not saying that it's on a steep rise, but maybe it's on a rise, or maybe that is just my own echo chamber. I'm surrounding myself with people that are more enlightened, so that's what I'm seeing. But if the British media doesn't change their approach to, and if the royal family does not change their approach to Harry and Meghan, it's going to get worse and worse for them, because more people are waking up to the fact more people are waking up to the fact that just because somebody who has a large platform or somebody who is in power or somebody who is, they're starting to see how manipulative and how ignorant these people are that are supposed to be, smart. They're supposed to be war leaders. They're supposed to be all of these things that you're taught from a young age to aspire to. And it's not, when they're up there and they're spouting and they're talking in circles and they're backtracking and, well, I didn't quite say this, but, just that people are starting to see how much full of bullshit they are. And I think that's one of the silver linings of social media. And I think that it is working in Harry and Meghan's favor. And I also think that Harry and Meghan themselves have had, they know about the Sussex Squad. I'm sure that they know about this live. I'm sure that people have told them about this live and everything. I think also one of the reasons, I think there's a lot of the reasons why they are so heavily invested in putting and making social media a safe place, because they see social media in a lot of ways is a balance to government and media propaganda. And that in a weird way, as harmful as social media is, I think that is also a great, I think it's benefited Harry and Meghan in a lot of ways, because it is a way to build support and to push back against, the legacy media and the propaganda and all. And I think that Harry and Meghan notices that, and is trying to better social media and protect it in a lot of ways, because they see the counterbalance to the UK British media, if that makes sense. I don't know, maybe, hopefully that made sense. But yeah, Go ahead, Bertie.
I was just agreeing with, like when I was telling Bonnie that people who are not squatties talk about the fact of, okay, why are they harassing Harry and Meghan? Okay, they don't live there anymore. And they start digging into like what's going on, and they see the racism of it all, they see the classism of it all, and the propaganda of it all. Okay, yeah, and when you think about the stories that the UK media write, and even like when Erica yesterday was discussing, the frontier of TikTok and social media that these clowns are on now, that is all propaganda. But when you start listening, okay, and hearing the stories are like something of a nonsensical book. Okay, none of the headlines make any sense. Meghan is plotting her revenge on Kate. Everything is just so outlandish, and people are seeing through that. Okay, and all these propaganda that they're doing here in the U.S. and over in the UK are affecting real lives. Okay, all the crap that they were selling to get Trump elected now have real life consequences from you believing about tariffs or immigrants or black people. Now everyone's in the hole because of that. And so people are waking up because it has real life consequences. Okay, the being elected really made a difference in your pocket, your wallet. Okay, not just black people's wallet, everybody's wallet who have to get up and work for a living. If you work for a living, him being elected was the worst thing that could ever happen in the world. But that's what propaganda did. Okay, it got him elected. It wasn't common sense that got him elected. Okay, he relied on a lot of stupid and racist people to get where he was a second time. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Exactly, Birdie. And I just, oh, go ahead.
Oh, okay, real quick. Did y'all hear about Jeremy Clarkson? No? What about him? What did he do? Oh, it seems like he went into the hospital almost after a almost fatal heart attack.
Oh, I got one better for you, Mina, Pam Bondi has cancer. I hope it's terminal, fingers crossed.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to come up there and say and tell y'all that in case nobody mentioned it. This is the second time, isn't it? Karina, is it the second time he's having a heart attack? I guess so. Or is it the third time? Because I saw it in the group.
Too much hate in his heart. The heart can't take it anymore.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's true.
Look, I hope the third time's a charm.
Wow. If true, then yes. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I had saw it in our group, so yeah, I had saw that and I figured I'd mention that. Thank you, Mina. Thank you. Yeah. Hey, Special K. So I think Miranda's still talking.
I think Miranda's still talking.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, my fault.
No worries at all. Miranda, go ahead. Finish your submission.
That's completely all right. I just and to further my point, and I have forgotten his name, and I was going to look it up before I started talking about it, but you know, I can see the difference in the way that social media is reporting on, I think he was Sudanese, the man that was killed by the UK police. And I can see the difference in reporting on it through social media versus looking at the UK headlines. And I think that the more people that are starting, because over here in America, because tensions are running, you know, to a high degree. And I think more white women than ever are starting their deconstruction journey, you know, and we'll see if they keep on it. But I just wonder if them seeing the difference in the legacy media's reporting on it versus the difference in social media's reporting on it, I just, you know, hopefully it will hold up a mirror and they can start to see, you know, they can start to see the bullshit for what it is. So I think more stuff like that is happening, and you know, in the civil